Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 28th Annual Peccary Society Dinner. If we haven't met, my name is Taylor Stockdale, and I'm head of the Webb Schools, and it's great to have you with us here tonight. It seems like yesterday, and when I say yesterday, I mean the early 1990s, that I was serving Webb as a faculty member and the alumni director. And I was working in the administration building, where Rona actually has her office now. And I remember when this young new museum director came down the hallway, knocked quietly on the door, and asked about doing some type of an event to celebrate and to raise money for the museum. I was just getting to know the legendary Don Lofgren. And together with Dean Randall Holdridge, we hatched a plan for a Peccary Society and with it a Peccary Society dinner. Although we were all present for the meeting, this was the vision and mastermind of Don and Don alone. Randall and I were just there for the ride, and we laughed about it at the end of the meeting. I'm not sure how many people attended the first dinner, maybe 40 or 50. It was in the old Hooper Student Center, and it was a modest affair by today's standards. We had people like Robert Hefner come back. It was wonderful. We had Bill Webb and Art Clokey talk about the founding of the skull, and many others. And from there, it grew and evolved, just like the time spiral itself, just like the museum itself, and just like the Peccary Society itself, with its army of volunteers who would support this world-class institution. The dinner soon moved from Hooper out to the lower field due to the numbers of people that showed up. And then from there, it moved to this, our newest venue, a virtual one in which we couldn't have fathomed in a million years, let alone 8 months ago. The pandemic is, among other things, a weighty reminder of the frailty of life and the miracle of life. The fact that we have at our center of our campus the study of life on our planet is more important now than ever before. In the midst of this pandemic, in which a beautiful dinner has been replaced by a glowing screen, we are enjoying something rather unbelievable: record attendance, record fundraising, and record spirit and cheer for the Alf spirit. One day, perhaps in 2120 or later, people might be talking about this night as a very historic one, and how this museum stood up to all the virus could muster. And essentially, we yelled from the mountaintops, "Laudate Diem." I can only imagine how proud Ray Alf is of all of you tonight. Before turning it over to our fearless leader, I'd like to acknowledge the outstanding staff of the Alf Museum for playing an instrumental role in causing all of this to happen. They have fought valiantly to ensure that Alf not only survives, but comes out the other end of this terrible time period an even stronger place. These people have worked hard. They worked their guts out so that we could enjoy the types of success that we enjoy tonight. So I'd like you to hold your applause at home until I am done reading all of their names. We have Augustine Family Curator and Director of Research and Collections, Andy Farkey. We have Collections Manager and Outreach Coordinator, Gabe Santos. We have Fossil Preparation Specialist, Jared Hoak. We have Office Manager, Kathy Sanders. We have Tours Manager, Monique Reyes. We have Outreach and Collections Assistants, Billy Guerrero and Bailey Jorgensen. We have Outreach Assistants, Chelsea Moreno, Ian Islas, and Nell Graham, excuse me. I'd also like to acknowledge the very fine work of the advancement staff in putting this night together, most notably Danielle Gordon, Jen Liu, Bob Fass, and everybody in the advancement office. Let's please give it up for this mighty team. Thank you, one and all. So clap to yourselves. There you go. And now it gives me great pleasure to announce our leader. There was a lot written about leadership, but only up until recently, not much had been written about servant leadership. A servant leader does not govern by power, but rather by example and inspiration. A servant leader is always giving credit to others and always giving others the opportunity to grow and thrive. A servant leader focuses on listening to others and to ensuring all members of the team feel equally valued and that they have a place and a voice in the mission of the enterprise. Quietly and patiently, a servant leader builds a followership, a group that rallies around them and their vision. To me, the very best example of a servant leader is the director of the Raymond M. Alf Museum of Paleontology, now in his 30th year, Dr. Don Lofgren. Don?
Thank you, Taylor. It's quite an introduction. Appreciate it very much. In early March, I was sitting in my office and I got a call from Bill Baldwin. He's a museum trustee, a close friend. And we were talking, he's going, Don, you guys are going to shut down. I said, what? Really? He says, yeah, it's coming really soon, just a few days. I thought, it's not that bad yet. We're not going to shut down that quickly. And then I didn't really believe him. And then 3 days later, I got a call from Taylor, said, come into my office, we're shutting down. So we've been shut down for 7 months. That's a long time. And for most museums, especially ones that depend on admissions for their revenue, it's a devastating thing to be closed for this long. But not for our museum. We're actually doing very well. First of all, admissions is only 10% of our revenue, and so we can adapt to that. And also we've adapted really well to online programs. I'll give you a couple examples. Virtual outreach. When we closed, we switched to virtual outreach within 3 weeks. And the reason we could do that is that we've been working on virtual outreach initiatives for quite a while as part of our strategic plan. Gabe's been working on them. And he was just about to launch our first virtual tour program, and then we shut down. So by careful planning and also coincidence, when we were closed, we were quickly shifting our audience to virtual one. And Gabe will tell you all the details about that. He's going to speak after I'm done. But let me just say that, simply said, our virtual outreach footprint is international and it's still expanding. Another example is our unique research program for students. It's really thriving. We have a record of number of students in the advanced research class right now, 30. We've never had that many before. So we're doing a lot of research, and it's a really pretty quality experience for our students, pandemic or no pandemic. We had 3 papers published this year. I've got them right here. Here's one on the Bass Formation limestone features that a lot of you alums had collected in the Grand Canyon and hauled out with 2 student co-authors. Here's a paper on Golar Formation vertebrates with 4 student co-authors. And then the big one was the Gravelly Range paper with 10 student co-authors. 10 students worked on this. And my good friend Debbie Hanneman, who's my colleague, geologist from Montana. And David Merkin, class of 66, and his wife Karen Piacentini are in the acknowledgements here because they helped with this program too. And every time we have a research paper published with students, we frame the cover and put it on the wall in the research lab. We have 43 papers with students. That's a lot of papers. And here I took a couple off the wall to bring them up. Here's one published last year by Andy Farkey and Eunice Yip on a juvenile hadrosaur. And then if you go back a few more years, here's the paper where dinosaur Jaro was described, the baby dinosaur found by Kevin Terrace in the Kapirowitz Formation of Utah. This paper was published in 2013, had 3 student co-authors, and Andy Farkey, of course. So we're the only paleontology museum on Earth that really has high school students involved in all aspects of our operations. That makes us totally unique. That's only found at Webb. And our Andy Farkey will be talking about that later in the program as well. But one thing we can't do is the Peccary trips. It's very sad. And, I really miss them. When I interviewed for the job at Webb 29 years ago, they told me during the interview that I had to do all these trips with students. And I thought, wow, that's great. That'd be really nice. When do I start? And all this time I've been at Webb, it's been my favorite thing is the Peccary trips. So we had to cancel the 2020 Peccary summer trip, which Andy was going to lead to Wyoming. And that was hard to do. But we decided, we always do a shirt for the trip. And we decided to do a trip shirt anyway, even though we didn't have a trip. So here it is. It's got our symbol on the front, of course, the Peccary Society. And on the back, we have a dinosaur with the mask on. So this is the 2020 Summer Peccary shirt. The 2020 Summer Peccary is a trip that never was, but the spirit lives on in our shirt. And we're distributing them right now to everybody. Another trip we had to cancel was the alumni trip to Barstow. It's a very popular trip. We have about 8 people usually show up. We collect fossils. We cook our meals in the Peccary pans that Ray Alf used, like the students were used in the 1950s, same pans. And we have this big campfire celebration in the evening where we have a raffle, Larry gives a talk, and we sing the Peccary song. So sadly, we had to cancel that. And then one of our trustees, Liz Smith, class of 92, she said, hey, why don't we do a virtual Barstow campfire? And I thought, wow, yeah, I guess so. We should try it. So we did, and it was pretty successful. People actually were outside in their backyards with a campfire taking part in this virtual event. And so we thought if we can do a virtual campfire, we can do a virtual Peccary dinner. And so here we are. It's our 28th dinner. This year we have no dinner. There's no drinks. You have to have that yourself. We sent you some recommendations about that. We have our shirt, we have our Peccary glass, and we have this program. And in the Peccary dinners, we basically are about celebrating our great museum. And so we have a lot to celebrate. I mean, we're the only nationally accredited museum on a high school campus in the world. And we're internationally known for our research and education programs. So in spite of the pandemic, we set a new record for fundraising for the Peccary dinner. This support sustains our world-class museum. We had about 160 gifts, sponsors, tickets, just gifts, outright gifts, totaling over $200,000. It's just shattered the previous record. In a pandemic year, it's amazing. I mean, I'm just really stunned by it. I'm so grateful for all the support. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And without that support, we could have never had a world-class museum. So I want to thank all our sponsors, and particularly to Doug and Ann Miles for leading the way like they usually do on the Peccary dinner. And a big thanks to the development team. They worked really hard on this, led by Dutch Barheit and Bob Foss, Laura Wensley, Daniel Gordon, Jen Liu, Angie Pfeiffer, Allison Hansen, Mike Simonetti, and Yvette Zarate. And then I also acknowledge our outstanding staff. Taylor's already read their names and showed them in the video. But this is without a doubt the best staff the museum has ever had in its 84-year history, no doubt. In fact, I've been writing evaluation letters, and they're not much fun to write. But when I write them, I think about all the work these people have done. Like Gabe Santos, I finished his letter. I couldn't keep it to 2 pages. I had to go to 3rd page. He's done so much. It's amazing. Same with Andy Farker, our world-renowned dinosaur paleontologist. He's incredible. He's on the executive committee of the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology, which is the big international society of vertebrate paleontologists. There's no big organization for that field than that. And he may be president someday. Wouldn't that be cool? President of the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology from the Alf Museum. And then we have an incredibly dedicated board of trustees. So led us to accreditation in 1998, reaccreditation in 2010, world-class status in 2016. The board chair for the last 19 years has been Larry Ashton, class of 1970, who's going to close the program and lead us in singing the Peccary song. Larry, if you know him, has an amazingly positive attitude, and his enthusiasm and love for Webb is unbounded and inspirational. 21 years ago, in 1999, Taylor Stockdale and I flew to Salt Lake City to ask Larry to join the Board of Trustees. He accepted, and the rest is history. Let me tell you about a few of the other trustees. I can't talk about all of them. I don't have that much time tonight. I'm just going to mention a few. But know that, not counting our 3 new trustees, the average term of service for our Board of Trustees is 15 years. So that's a long time of service. Our new trustees, the youngest is Jeff Kripe, class of 08. He was an exceptional student prospector when he was at Webb. He found the Kripe site in Utah. Been working it for, I don't know, 15 years. It's an amazing place. His big claim to fame also is that he was at the SVP meeting in Texas in 2008, and he was actually at the interview for Dr. Farkey when we interviewed him at lunch. So Jeff Kripe, Andy Farkey, you can ask Jeff Kripe for getting hired. Then there's Jenny Kong. Jenny Kong is a Webb parent and been volunteering for outreach, the museum events. All 3 of our kids were Rogers Peccary Scholars, student researcher. And Xander, who's a junior right now, is in my class. And Liz Smith, I mentioned her before, she helps lead all the alumni trips, which is a lot of work. And she was in my very first museum science class in 1992, and she was on my very first Peccary trip, which is a trip to Barstow. And trustees with the longest record of service, one of them is Terry Bagan. She joined in 1988, 32 years ago. She's a professional geologist who travels worldwide. Her father, George Whitney, class of 31, is a lawyer, drafted the documents to basically incorporate the museum in 1979. And then our longest term trustee, Gar Jameson, class of 71, he was an ardent student of Ray Alf when he was here. He joined the board in 1979 and was there when George Whitney was there to incorporate the museum. 41 years of service, incredible. A couple other quick examples. Bill Baldwin, I already mentioned him. George McKelvey, the chairman of the board in 1992, was having his house remodeled. And Bill was doing that. So he brought Bill over to the museum to see what we were doing. And pretty soon he was over there volunteering his work to help install storage cabinets. And the next year he joined the board. And Gretchen Augustin, one of our staunchest supporters, was a longtime Webb trustee before she joined the museum board. She was on the search committee that hired Susan Nelson as head of Vivian Webb School in the late 1980s. And we know how well that worked out. She was head of the school for over 20 years. So I'm very grateful that we have such an incredible and outstanding board of trustees who volunteer their service to see that the museum thrives and fulfills its mission. So to all our alumni, trustees, parents, friends, everyone out there, thank you for your support and for attending the 28th annual Peccary Society Dinner. Now I'm going to turn it over to Gabe Santos.
All right, well, hello everybody. Welcome to our online Peccary dinner. Sorry that took me a second. I had to switch from a producer mode to a presenter mode. So let's see if I can get this going. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about our collections and outreach initiatives that we've been doing at the museum since going into lockdown. All of us here have been doing quite a lot with the amount of time that we've had, and we've really tried to really keep what the museum's about and thinking about our moment of time and applying that to everything we do. So to start things off, let me tell all of you a little story. On March 12th, 2020, the Alf Museum closed its doors to the public. And that was one of the first times we've had to do something like that in our long history. Immediately, we had to tell all of our tour reservations that they could no longer come. We could no longer bring guests into the museum. Everything that we had been planning for, from outreach events in community centers, at Comic-Cons, our Discovery Days, everything had to stop. And as a museum so dedicated to education, we had this really important question we had to answer. With our doors closed and us not able to go anywhere anymore, how can we continue to serve our community? Well, lucky for us, our team had already had virtual programs in development. You know, we've done Skype in the classroom, and we've been working on upgrading all of those so that we can continue to serve not just our community here in Claremont and the Inland Empire, but to all of those throughout the world. And also, very, very lucky for us, one of our museum volunteers, Alexander Osborne, he had already created a virtual museum for online use. It was something that we had already planned to do, and he had completed it like within maybe 2 weeks before we had to close our doors. So we are so lucky that Alexander dedicated his time and his own equipment to develop this virtual museum for us. Now, with the virtual museum, is it not playing? Oh. It's okay. Give me a second. Is it going now? Oh. Sorry, give me 1 second. I had some tech difficulties. All right, we're back. First time doing this, there's going to be some technical hiccups, but where was I? All right, so yeah, we already had virtual programs in development. Our good and amazing volunteer, Alexander Osborne, created this amazing virtual museum for us, and I hope you can see that now on the screen. So like I said, he created this using his own equipment and his time to completely digitize the Alf Museum for us to use online. And it just so happened he completed it before we ever went into lockdown. So as soon as lockdown happened, our whole team, we went home and we were like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna continue to serve and educate everyone around us? Well, our amazing outreach team got together and thought, let's use this virtual museum and create virtual experiences for anyone to use, for our regular tour guides, to community events, to after school programs. Anyone who needed the Alf Museum, we could be there in their home from our homes. And so within a couple of weeks, we were able to develop and produce these amazing virtual programs where we can give tours of the museum, all next-gen science standard aligned for anybody to use. And since debuting those virtual experiences, we've been able to teach about over 2,500 students in over 23 states and in 6 different countries. And most importantly, we've been able to offer these at no cost, because in today's age, are already underserved. Oops. Who are already underserved, it was very important to us to ensure that we can offer these programs to as many people and be as accessible and inclusive as possible. And that's not where we stopped. We also created an education newsletter for teachers out there who were looking for resources to use as they taught from home. I partnered with the Western Science Center to create a brand new live stream show called Fossil Friday Chats, where every Friday, or most Fridays, we invited a guest paleontologist to tell us a story about their research or how they got into paleontology. It gave the museum a way to connect audiences with paleontologists around the world and also show off the amazing diversity and backgrounds of paleontologists everywhere. Since then, we've been able to produce over 36 episodes and have been viewed by thousands across the world. We started our Moments of Time series, especially for our web community, so that all of you at home can get to know us better at the museum. You get to learn what our stories are and our favorite moments of time. Just this week, we completed our first ever live stream event called our Let's Tour live stream for National Fossil Day. We visited over 10 museums across the United States to showcase the amazing collections of all of our partner institutions. It was a 10-hour live stream. It was probably more than I needed to do, but it was so much fun, and we were able to show so many cool things. And of course, the story continues. Right now, Monique Reyes, our amazing tours manager, continues to expand our network to educators across Southern California and the rest of the United States, including brand new scout groups, boys and girls clubs, adult care programs, anybody who is in need of educational resources. Monique is out there ensuring that they know that we are here to provide them. Billy Guerrero, another one of our outreach paleontologists, she is leading our Junior Paleo Camp Online, which we just launched. It's an after-school program we developed for 6th through 9th graders, and it was all created using Billy's summer program that we adapted to use online with activities that we could send to students so they could have extracurricular activities and also learn about the basics of paleontology when they can't come to the museum. Chelsea Moreno is continuing to improve our virtual experience program, continuing to create amazing scripts and science facts for it. And she's also developing so much amazing social media content for us. As for me, I continue to expand our informal research program. We are in the midst of developing educational kits that we can send to people across the United States. More live stream program engagement where folks at home can meet paleontologists and ask us questions that they've been wanting to find out about paleontology. Also important to me is developing accessibility and accommodations for all of our programs. We want to make sure that everybody can utilize the museum resources no matter what their abilities are. And of course, we're trying to broaden our network. And for me, since I am now a National Geographic certified educator, I'm very excited to be bringing the Alf Museum to the National Geographic Society and their education network and find ways that we can be really innovative utilizing the National Geographic education framework. So even with our doors closed, the Alf Museum continues to serve its community as a world-class educational resource online. And like I said, it's been very important that we are able to provide these resources to those who need it most. And of course, that's thanks to all of you today for allowing us that opportunity. Now, while we've been also very busy on education, the work has not stopped here at the Alf Museum. In the collections room, Bailey Jorgensen, one of our collections paleontologists, since returning to the museum in July, she's done some amazing work. Over 800 specimens have been added to our database. She's updated so many specimens that have already been in there to the current standards, and she's reorganized multiple sections of the collection. And so that's all because of her while I've been busy on education work. So big thanks to Bailey. In the prep lab, Jared's been very busy as well. He's been working to improve and update the collections room, including our brand new sandblaster. This is going to help us to prepare fossils on a new level. And this is all thanks to the amazing support of Will Allen and his family in honor of their father, and also Carl Lockman and his family. So thank you. Of course, there's still so much work to be done. As we continue to broaden these projects, reach new audiences, and of course, continue to make the world-class museum that we are, we're gonna continue to remember that important question that Ray Alf always asked everyone who entered the museum. What will you do with your moment of time? For most of us here, we've been able to figure out what we wanna do, whether it's telling stories of the past, preserving the past, or both. And again, that's all thanks to you at home. And one of the most important things too is that your support has not only enabled us to think about our moment of time, but allowed us to help others figure out theirs at home. So thank you all so much. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Andy Farkey.
All right. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you for that update. It's just so awesome, you know, as being here at the museum and, you know, with all the changes and the uncertainties, knowing that there's just such a great team of people here being able to work with them and really just see everyone bring their talents to the table. What I want to do tonight for my part of the program as the through my role in research and collections is some of the really fun stuff. And really a lot of what I do is the fun stuff in life. And I'd like to lead that off with something that our museum does to really raise awareness and foster the sorts of colleagues and recognize the sort of work going on in the field that's in the same spirit as Ray Alf. So tonight, it is my honor to introduce the 2020 recipient of the Raymond M. Alf Award for Excellence in Paleontological Research and Education. Now in its 6th year, the Alf Award honors a paleontologist who demonstrates exceptional achievement in both original scientific research as well as in education and outreach at the primary and secondary school levels. So truly someone who's really following in the footsteps and continuing in the same path as our founder, Ray Alf. Our 2020 recipient for the award is Dr. Alexis Mikhailo. Dr. Mikhailo is a postdoctoral associate at the University of Oklahoma and a research associate at La Brea Tar Pits and Museum. She is a noted expert on Ice Age animals, particularly in studies that use the fossil record to understand contemporary issues of wildlife conservation and environmental change. Dr. Mikhailo's fieldwork has included collaborations in California, as well as in the Dominican Republic and Trinidad and Tobago, uncovering fossils that have been important to better understand small and large-scale transitions from prehistory into the modern day, truly spanning the past into the present and the future. Alongside this impressive research program, Dr. Mikhailo has maintained a strong presence as an educator and as a mentor for high school students. Through funding from the Society for Science in the Public, she developed a high school science research program for female students and those from underrepresented backgrounds. These students completed research projects in paleontology, and they presented these projects at Los Angeles area science fairs. Additionally, Dr. Mikhailo has been active with the Skype a Scientist program, which has allowed further direct engagement by her with students and other interested people around the world. Dr. Mikhailo's influence as a researcher, alongside her notable efforts for education, are truly within the spirit of Ray Alf and are an inspiration to everyone, including all of us here at the Alf Museum. Because Dr. Mikhailo cannot be here in person tonight, we have a short video greeting from her as she accepts this award.
Hello all. It is truly an honor to accept the Raymond M. Alf Award for Excellence in Paleontological Research and Education. As an early career researcher, this award gives me renewed purpose as I form my own lab group at Middlebury College and sets the tone for my career trajectory, a high bar to live up to based on previous awardees. Above all, I am thankful for the inspiration, hope, and kindness that my students bring into my life, both professionally and personally. Now, more than ever, their optimism challenges me to keep going despite the new Zoom world we live in. As a high school student, my teacher gave me the freedom to pursue my curiosity for the science fair, indulging my interest in dinosaur growth patterns, and even letting me expose a colony of mice to hawk poop in the supply closet, only expecting that I have fun, never expecting that I would eventually get a PhD. One of my core reasons for pursuing an academic career is to give high school students an even bigger playing field than I had in which to follow their curiosity without fear of failure. Luckily, I was able to start making this a reality as a postdoctoral researcher when the Society for Science in the Public and the Girls Academic Leadership Academy of Los Angeles supported me in developing the first science fair program for girls at the La Brea Tar Pits and Museum. I have been fortunate to publish in high-impact journals, but seeing a poster board with fake plants at the LA County Science Fair was honestly just as good, if not better, than seeing the actual research paper about the real plants published in scientific reports. This experience, seeing my students discover the questions that most interested them and watching them apply to college, has fundamentally shaped how I see my own academic career unfolding. A lot of people are talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion in selecting students for research experiences at the college level. But what I've come to appreciate is that when you're recruiting college students, you're already working with a winnowed pool. My goal is to address the leaky science pipeline between high school and college, which I will do as I start my own lab next year. I also want to thank the California Science Center for sponsoring me as a chaperone and judge for the 2019 International Science and Engineering Fair. This experience made it clear just how underrepresented paleontology, ecology, and evolution are in high school science programs, which may discourage students from realizing their true passion is science if it's not molecular biology or medicine. I think museums have a real underappreciated opportunity here. Not only can museums provide physical spaces for research, as the tar pits did, but through digitization programs, museum collections can be accessible to the high school students anywhere in the country. I strongly encourage all paleontologists to volunteer at their local science fair and continue building these bridges. In all honesty, I wish this award didn't have to exist. I wish that the majority of our institutions and colleagues assumed that outreach and education were part of a scientist's core responsibilities. Society invests heavily in us as scientists, in our lifelong careers and grants and networks. How do we repay them if not through engagement? Yet institutions generally do not reward faculty, let alone students, for this type of work. And these service expectations more often than not fall onto women and BIPOC students. I have seen this and felt this firsthand. But I've also been fortunate to have academic mentors who see outreach as equally important to my research as part of my development as a scientist. In selecting me for this award, the ALF has just sent a message to graduate students and postdocs everywhere that outreach is something that will be rewarded, contributing to a larger cultural shift in paleontology. And this brings me so much hope. Now, more than ever, we hear that science needs to be respected by society at large. But this is a two-way street. Scientists need to respect the different forms of knowledge and diverse educational backgrounds of all members of society and make science feel accessible if we're ever to make progress. We all have a role to play in making this happen. By honoring me as an early career researcher, you've set a high standard for me to live up to during my career as a teacher and a researcher, and I won't let you down. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's always inspiring to hear about the work of our ALF awardees, and it's really wonderful to see the great work that's happening out there in the spirit of Ray Alf. So, of course, another real treat in our work as a museum and in my work as a researcher is working with so many people to communicate what we do to the public. And one of the best ways to tell the story of our past is through really compelling illustrations. And so for the last several years, we've been hosting science illustration interns from various programs around the country. This year, we're virtually hosting an intern from the program at Cal State Monterey Bay. That's Hannah Case. Hannah comes to us with a really great portfolio, and she's been working with me to develop illustrations related to some of our student research projects. The picture that you see here on screen, of course, the one on one side of the screen, there's a picture of Hannah with one of her beloved lizards. The organism on the other side of the screen is a Leptoceratops that Hannah recently illustrated for one of our projects that was presented at the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meetings. So that's been really wonderful to continue that online collaboration and continue the work of the museum even nowadays. Now, as mentioned by Don and others earlier, we've really had to shift the way that we do business here at the museum and the way that we engage with students in the web program. Just like everything else at Web, we've moved to online classes, doing phone calls and Zoom calls at different times to accommodate students around the world. And I really have to say, the Web students that I'm working with this year, it's amazing to see their resilience, their just can-do spirit, and their flexibility and their willingness to keep on learning and to keep finding that wonder out there in the world. One of my favorite classes to teach, and of course all the classes I teach are my favorite, but one of my real favorites is teaching the 10th and 11th grade honors paleontology course. Now, where we usually have the students in the lab working with real hands-on trilobites and shark teeth and other fossils, we've been able to go digital in this. And so well, as the students are learning about the history of life and learning about different types of rocks and fossils, they're able to use 3D computer models to study everything and collaborate with each other over Zoom calls and put together really amazing video presentations. So the work of our classroom continues. My other favorite class, and again, all my classes are my very favorite, but my favorite class is the work that we're doing in the Advanced Studies in Paleontology class. And this is the capstone class for our paleontology curriculum at Webb. Again, as we move digitally, it took a lot of people working together to make this happen. So whereas students could previously walk into the lab and pick up their specimen, now, thanks to work by people like Bailey and Gabe and others, they can download a 3D model and have it right there on their computer. They can look at high-resolution photographs produced in our research lab. And so the work of that continues. And in just a minute here, you're going to get to see and meet some of the students that are involved with the program. Now, a big part of what we do in this advanced research class is creating new scientific knowledge that's not just relevant on campus here, but relevant to the broader scientific community. And it is so amazing to be able to see our students publish peer-reviewed papers, like Don talked about earlier, as well as take their work to scientific conferences. Now, before everything shut down, we were able to do one physical in-person conference, the Western Association of Vertebrate Paleontology Conference. And we had several students present there on their work that they're doing in the Advanced Studies program. Again, you're going to hear from some of them in just a minute. And just this week, we've been finishing up the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology Conference. Now, this international symposium, which brings hundreds of scientists from around the world, was done all virtually. To still accommodate, all the restrictions that are in place right now. And our students, just like everyone across the sciences, rose to the challenge. We had 3 different presentations at the conference. Again, you're going to hear from some of those students in just a second. But one of the things that really impressed me and always impresses me about our students is just how savvy they are, how talented they are, the amazing efforts that they put into these projects, and the way that those efforts and that knowledge and that experience is received by the broader scientific community. Earlier this week, I was sitting in a virtual networking session with around 70 of the world experts on the evolution of the brain and paleoneurology, and seeing one of our Webb students, Jenny Hahn, answer questions in this environment and really be received as a professional by some of these really accomplished professionals out there in the field was amazing. And I saw this again and again with all the work that was presented by our students this week. It really makes me proud of the work that we do in the program, and it just is really a testament to the work that these students put in. Now, all of our students in the Advanced Studies in Paleo program are doing tremendous work. Of course, things have adjusted a little bit. Normally, we would have them do an advanced research project for the full 2 years. This year, for the first year students, they're getting a little more in-depth research training before they go into their longer term projects. Don Lofgren's doing that. And so you're going to meet some of those students right now, as well as the second year students that are a little deeper into their research. These students are all part of the Rogers Peccary Scholars program through the Mary Stuart Rogers Foundation and the wonderful long-term support from the Rogers family for the work that's happening here at the museum with these students. And so we've asked our students scattered across the globe to give us just a little video snapshot of what they're doing. And so we're going to play that right now. And then after that video plays, we're going to hear from our wonderful board chair, Mr. Larry Ashton. So before that though, we're going to start with seeing from some of our students. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, my name is Wyatt, and I am working on the paper New Vertebrate Localities and Correlation of the Mesa Verde Formation in northwestern Wyoming, and I will be identifying terrestrial vertebrate microfossils from that site.
Hello, my name is Peter Jogath, and I am a senior at Webb and a second year Rogers Peccary Scholar, and I am currently working on the identification of perissodactyls at the Pipestone Springs main pocket. Now, perissodactyls include things such as rhinoceroses, running rhinoceroses, brontoid eagles, and horses. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm a second year student in ASIP, and my project is looking at the taphonomic bias in the collections of horse phalanges from the Barstow Formation and La Brea Tarpon.
Hi, I'm Jenny and I'm currently a second-year student in the ASIP program. My project concerns with creating a digital endocrino endocast of Leptoceratops gracilis and subsequently comparing it with other ceratopsian dinosaurs.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Wen and I am a second-year student in the ASIP program. For my project, I've been working on the crocodiliforms from the White River Formation in Wyoming.
Hi, my name is Winston. I'm a second-year student from ASIP, and my project is looking at the crocodiliforms of the White River Formation of Wyoming from the Eocene and Oligocene.
Hi, I'm Alice, and I'm a second-year paleontology student. My project is on analyzing and describing the turtle skull and lower jaw of Denisonemes nidosa.
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm a second-year student in the ASIP program. My project is on the preservation bias of horse phalanges from the Barstow Formation and La Brea Tarpons.
Hello, I am Mason Lateau Stallings. I am a second-year ASIP student, and my project is studying the Cretaceous fish teeth of the Mesa Verde Formation of Wyoming.
Hi, my name is Angeline Zhang. I'm a second-year student in ASIP, and my project this year is identifying artiodactyl specimens, which are hoofed mammals such as goats, camels, and deer in Pipestone Springs.
Hi, my name is Logan Zhang. I'm a second-year student in the ASIP program, and my project is on writing a detailed description of a fossilized turtle, the Denisonemes nidosa.
Hi, my name is Richard.
Hi, my name is Joseph.
Hi, my name is Mikey.
Hi, my name is Nathan Choi.
Hello, my name is Christopher Chung.
Hi, I'm Joseph Ferrari.
Hi, my name is Emma.
Hi, my name is Rachel.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Khan.
Hi, my name is Xander.
Hey, I'm Nick Lee.
Hello, I'm William Lee.
Hey, my name's Laura.
Hi, my name's Caroline.
Hi, my name is Allison.
Hello, my name is Hank Sung.
Hi, my name is Blake Sutner.
Hi, my name is Jonathan.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. And wow, after tonight's performance and production and interview, you can see how we, Raymond M. in paleontology, leads the world for high school students in a paleontological museum that is accredited, and there are only about 4 or 5% of museums in the world that are accredited. We have one of those. So we can thank the presenters tonight for such a great showing of what we do here. And the way we do it here is because of all of you, our great supporters throughout the world. We're a world-class museum.
We're Peccary men out looking for bones in the wilds of this wild country. We'll find them and then we'll return again to the little museum on the hill. Oh, we'll rate the fossilized dinosaur and ship him collect, and then we'll stand on the brink of the missing link. We're Peccary men. From Barstow with Ray to the Gobi with Doc, the fossils have flown on in. Our future is cast to explore the past. We're Peccary with